Have you ever felt like you're giving your all in a relationship, only to receive little in return? Welcome to our journey into understanding one-sided relationships. But first, if you're looking for insights that resonate with real life and relationships, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Join us as we explore the depths of human connections. In the words of the ancient Stoic philosopher Seneca, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. This profound thought nudges us towards a stark reality in modern relationships. Today, we're diving into indicators of one-sided relationships. 7 attitudes to watch out for. It's an exploration inspired by the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, tailored for the heartbeat of our generation. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice." As we unpack these attitudes, remember, it's not about revenge, but about recognizing when we are not valued as we should be. It's about understanding, growing, and sometimes making the hard decision to walk away for our own good. Stay with us as we unravel these attitudes, which might be subtle yet profoundly impactful. Let's embark on this journey of self-discovery and empowerment together. Attitude 1. In our journey through one-sided relationships is lack of reciprocity. It's a term that sounds complex but boils down to a simple, painful truth. You're giving more than you're getting. Imagine constantly texting first, making plans, and showing affection, only to be met with minimal effort. It's like being on a seesaw alone. You're putting in all the work and still not getting off the ground. The great philosopher Lao Tzu once said, "Being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage." But what happens when that love isn't returned? It leaves you drained, both of strength and courage. In today's world, where social media often masks true feelings, this imbalance can be harder to spot. You might be flooding their DMs with care and concern, and all you get are emojis or worse, scene-zoned. It's not just about the big gestures, it's those small texts, those check-ins, the thinking of you messages that matter. Lack of reciprocity isn't just about affection, it's about the basic exchange of care and respect. When one person is always adjusting their schedule, compromising their needs, and the other is just taking it for granted, that's your red flag. It's like having a playlist of 2 songs. One is all love and the other indifference. That's not a playlist you want to be on repeat. This lack of balance leads to a deeper emotional toll. It's not just about feeling unloved, it's about feeling unseen. When your efforts aren't reciprocated, it can lead to self-doubt, loneliness, and a feeling of unworthiness. So ask yourself, are you in a relationship or a solo project? Are you a partner or just an option? Recognizing this imbalance is the first step towards regaining your self-worth and deciding what you truly deserve. Remember, a relationship should be a duet, not a solo performance. Moving on to attitude 2. In our exploration of one-sided relationships, inconsistent communication. It's a digital era paradox. We're more connected than ever, yet genuine communication in relationships can be as scarce as a battery at 1% lasting all day. Oscar Wilde once brilliantly stated, "Conversation should touch everything, but should concentrate itself on nothing." In a healthy relationship, communication flows freely, touching upon everything from your deepest fears to your favorite memes. However, in a one-sided affair, conversations often feel like trying to get a signal in a dead zone, sporadic and frustrating. In today's fast-paced world, where texting is the norm, inconsistency can be painfully obvious. One day you're exchanging messages faster than GIFs, and the next day you're left staring at read at 9:03 p.m. with no reply. This hot and cold pattern isn't just confusing, it's emotionally draining. You start wondering, did I say something wrong? Are they just busy? Or just not that into me? But it's not just about text messages. Inconsistent communication also manifests in plans that are made and seldom kept, promises that are as unstable as a weak Wi-Fi signal, and emotional sharing that fluctuates like trends on Twitter. You're left in a state of constant uncertainty, like waiting for the next episode of a show that might or might not be released. Inconsistency in communication is more than an inconvenience. It's a sign of emotional unavailability and lack of commitment. It leaves you in a limbo, a place where you're more an option than a priority. So, if you find yourself constantly double-checking if your phone is on silent because you haven't heard from them, it might be time to ask, are you in a meaningful conversation or just an intermittent chat? Remember, in a world full of read receipts, you deserve received emotions. Attitude 3. As we delve into Attitude 3, we confront a subtle yet damaging aspect of one-sided relationships: neglect of emotional needs. It's an issue that might not scream for attention like a dramatic scene in a movie, but slowly erodes the foundations of a relationship like unnoticed water damage. Friedrich Nietzsche, a philosopher who wasn't shy about exploring the depths of human emotion, once said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." In the context of relationships, this means knowing why you're with someone should align with how they treat you, especially emotionally. In today's world, where emojis often replace emotional expressions, recognizing this neglect can be tricky. It's like having a playlist where the songs are all about fun and no substance. You're dancing to the beat, but your heart isn't moved. Emotional neglect in a relationship can feel like being in a room with someone who's absorbed in their phone, physically present but emotionally miles away. It manifests in different ways. Your achievements might be met with a lukewarm, cool instead of excitement. Your struggles with a dismissive, "that's tough" instead of understanding, and your fears with silence instead of support. It's when your significant other knows your favorite movie, but not how you feel about your job. Emotional neglect is more than feeling lonely. It's feeling unseen and unheard. It's about expressing your worries and being met with indifference, sharing your joys and receiving apathy. It's a void where empathy should be. This lack of emotional support isn't just sad, it's harmful. It leads to self-doubt, lower self-esteem, and can make you question your worth. You start feeling like you're alone in a two-person journey. So, if you find yourself repeatedly explaining how you feel only to be met with a blank stare or a change of topic, it's time to ponder. Are you in an emotionally supportive relationship or just coexisting? Remember, love is not just about being together. It's about being together in heart and mind. In a world where seen is often mistaken for understood, ensure your emotional needs are not just viewed but valued. Attitude 4. Attitude 4 brings us to a particularly challenging aspect of one-sided relationships: lack of reciprocity. It's about giving your all and receiving little to nothing in return. Like streaming your favorite show and it keeps buffering, you're invested but you're not getting the full experience. The brilliant author and poet Maya Angelou once said, "When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time." This is particularly poignant when it comes to reciprocity in relationships. If you're consistently putting in more effort than you're receiving, it's a clear signal of the imbalance in your relationship. In our fast-paced, social media-driven world, the concept of give and take has become skewed. It's like being active on a social platform, constantly engaging with someone's posts, but your own posts remain unnoticed, unliked, uncommented. In a relationship, this might look like you always initiating plans, being the sole comforter, the constant giver of time, affection, and energy, while your efforts seem to disappear into a void. This lack of balance isn't just about feeling unappreciated, it's about feeling undervalued. When you're always the one making sacrifices, adjusting your schedule, compromising your needs, it's not just exhausting, it's diminishing. It slowly chips away at your sense of self-worth, making you question if you're enough. It's important to realize that a healthy relationship is like a dance. It requires rhythm, harmony, and mutual effort. If one person is always leading while the other follows, the dance loses its beauty, its essence. You start feeling like a solo performer in a duet. So if you find yourself in a situation where your efforts are met with indifference, where your love feels like a one-way street, it's time to reflect. Are you in a partnership or a solitary endeavor? Remember, in a relationship, just like in life, balance isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. In a world obsessed with likes and follows, Make sure your emotional investment is mutually valued and reciprocated. Next up in our exploration of one-sided relationships is Attitude 5, emotional unavailability. It's like sending a text and watching it hang at delivered, never read or responded to. It leaves you in a state of constant anticipation and ultimately disappointment. Oscar Wilde once said, "Never love anyone who treats you like you're ordinary." This rings true in the context of emotional unavailability. It's when you're with someone, yet you feel alone. Their physical presence is guaranteed, but emotionally they're a million miles away. It's like being connected on social media, yet there's no real conversation or interaction. In today's world, where online connections often surpass face-to-face interactions, recognizing emotional unavailability has become harder yet more crucial. It manifests in ways like being always distracted, not listening to what you're saying, or showing indifference to your feelings and needs. It's when you share your deepest thoughts, and they respond with a mere or a distracted nod. This lack of emotional connection is not just about feeling lonely, it's about feeling invisible in your own relationship. It's like posting your life's highlights on social media and receiving no reaction. It undermines your value and diminishes your self-esteem. But remember, emotional availability is a two-way street. It requires both partners to be open, vulnerable, and present. If you constantly find yourself trying to breach the emotional walls of your partner, only to be met with silence or indifference, it's time to pause and reflect. Are you in a partnership or a parallel play? It's essential to understand that being in a relationship where you feel unseen and unheard is like watering a dead plant. No matter how much effort you put in, without reciprocal emotional investment, the relationship cannot flourish. In an era where digital connections can be misleadingly superficial, make sure your real-life connections are deeply rooted in mutual emotional presence and understanding. Moving on to Attitude 6, we encounter a pervasive red flag: consistent lack of support. It's like trying to download an important app, only to find your Wi-Fi perpetually failing. Support, or the lack thereof, can be the make-or-break factor in any relationship. The famous author John Donne once wrote, "No man is an island." This simple yet profound statement encapsulates the essence of support in relationships. In a one-sided relationship, you might find yourself standing alone in your endeavors. Your successes met with indifference, your failures with criticism, or worse, silence. In today's fast-paced world, where everyone is hustling for their dreams, having a partner who doesn't cheer for you can feel like running a marathon with no one at the finish line. It's when you get that promotion, and their response is muted, or you face a setback, and their comfort is non-existent. Lack of support can also manifest in subtler ways. It's like posting about your achievements online and receiving likes from everyone but the one person whose approval you yearn for. It might be their absence at events important to you or their disinterest in the stories you share about your day. This attitude goes beyond not having a cheerleader. It's about not having a teammate. It leaves you feeling alone in both your triumphs and tribulations. As humans, we thrive on connection and recognition, especially from those closest to us. A partner's support is not just desired, it's fundamental. However, it's crucial to differentiate between a bad day and a consistent pattern. Everyone can have moments of self-absorption, but in a healthy relationship, these are exceptions, not the rule. If you find yourself consistently on the solo path in your relationship journey, it's time to ask, are you in a partnership or a solo expedition? In conclusion, remember that in a relationship you deserve to be celebrated, not tolerated. Support should be as natural as breathing, not a luxury. In a world where social media often dictates validation, ensure your relationship provides genuine support, uplifting you in your real-world endeavors. Attitude 7. As we reach the final attitude, we discuss neglecting your personal growth. It's akin to having a smartphone that never updates. Eventually, it becomes incompatible with new applications. Personal growth in a relationship is just as essential. Friedrich Nietzsche, a philosopher known for his profound insights, once said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." This quote reminds us of the importance of personal growth and purpose in our lives. In a one-sided relationship, your growth and aspirations might be sidelined, ignored, or even discouraged. In the era of social media influencers and self-help gurus, personal development is a buzzword. Yet, in a relationship where you're undervalued, your aspirations might seem like background noise to your partner. It's like sharing your dreams and getting a dismissive shrug in return. Neglecting personal growth manifests in various ways. It could be your partner not taking an interest in your hobbies, career ambitions, or even in encouraging you to pursue new opportunities. It's like following accounts on Instagram that inspire you, but never getting around to implementing that inspiration in your life. This attitude is detrimental because it stunts your evolution as an individual. You're more than someone's partner. You're an individual with dreams, potential, and a journey of your own. A healthy relationship should feel like wind beneath your wings, not a cage that clips them. It's crucial to recognize the difference between a partner who's comfortable with the status quo and one who actively discourages your growth. The former can be nudged towards support. The latter might be a sign of a deeper issue. Your growth should not be a solo journey in a relationship. It should be a shared journey where each partner uplifts the other. If your growth is consistently neglected, it might be time to question: are you in a partnership that fosters your growth or one that fears it? Remember, in a relationship, you should not only be loved for who you are, but also supported in who you aspire to be. In a world constantly evolving, ensure your relationship evolves with you, not without you. As we wrap up our exploration of the 7 attitudes indicative of one-sided relationships, let's remember that recognizing these signs is the first step towards empowerment. It's about understanding that you deserve a relationship that is as invested in you as you are in it. The great Maya Angelou once said, "Never make someone a priority when all you are to them is an option." This powerful statement resonates deeply when we consider one-sided relationships. You are not a background character in someone else's story. You are the protagonist of your own. Reflect on these attitudes: the imbalance of effort, the lack of communication, emotional manipulation, and all the others we discussed. If these ring true in your relationship, it's not just about feeling unfulfilled. It's about recognizing that you are worth more. Remember, walking away from a relationship that doesn't serve you isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. It's about choosing your well-being and self-respect over the comfort of familiarity. As Steve Maraboli insightfully put it, the most powerful relationship you will ever have is the relationship with yourself. Prioritize this relationship. Nurture it. In today's digital age, where the portrayal of perfect relationships is rampant on social media, it's easy to feel like you're falling short. But the truth is, real relationships are not curated for likes or follows. They are built on mutual respect, understanding, and growth. If you find yourself in a one-sided relationship, take a moment to pause and reflect. Are you growing or stagnating? Are you happy or merely content? Remember, as Oscar Wilde beautifully expressed, "To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist, that is all." Choose to live, not just exist. As you move forward, carry with you the lessons you've learned. Let them be the stepping stones towards a relationship that values and respects you. A relationship where your dreams, emotions, and growth are not just acknowledged but celebrated. And to those who may be on the verge of stepping away from a one-sided relationship, know this: it's okay to feel scared. It's okay to feel uncertain. But amidst that fear and uncertainty, there's a promise of something better, something more fulfilling. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. I hope this discussion has illuminated some aspects of your relationships and offered guidance on paths you might choose to take. Before we part ways, I want to leave you with one last thought. Relationships are one of life's greatest adventures. They should add to your life, not subtract from it. If you find yourself constantly subtracting, it might be time to start adding self-love, self-respect, and perhaps a new beginning. Thank you so much for watching. If you found value in this video, please consider subscribing and turning on the notification settings to catch new videos as they are uploaded. Your support means the world, and it helps in continuing to produce content that makes a difference. Remember, In the grand narrative of your life, you're the author. Write a story that you're proud of.